This is Dave and welcome to another M365 video. This time is actually from a real life situation. One of the things I did at the work of place that I'm at, I actually built a catering application for a company, and I actually used a baseline form for date, and it came in as military time. One of the things they've been asking me for is to change it from military time to actually have AM or PM. And there's some things that you have to be careful of, and you can't just let the form create itself. And I'm going to go through each and every single step. First, I'm going to put together the form that you can do very quickly and easily by just connecting it to a data source. But the problem, there's the problem that it goes into military time automatically. And then I'm going to show you a way to not do in military time and actually have it as AM and PM and still be able to save from your Power application into SharePoint, a SharePoint list in this case. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, welcome to PowerApps. Now, I've done a couple things ahead of time in order to make sure this video is not extremely long, because let's face it, once it gets past the 30-minute mark, people usually start falling asleep or wonder if I lost my marbles because of all the really bad jokes I've been telling you. So let me kind of show you around and see what's going on. Right here we have a second screen. The second screen is the better way. That's the one that the page that I'm going to actually build the solution that I am referring to for AM and PM. The normal way, I'm going to actually go ahead and create the air quotes normal way, where I'm going to just automatically have the form set up, tie it to the data source, pick which fields I want, and it's going to automatically do everything for me. It's going to create the fields, it's going to create the drop downs, it's going to create all of the stuff, text boxes, etc. But you're going to see very quickly that it's not as intuitive, and so therefore why I'm actually doing this video. Also, I'll show you really quickly, I also have a database called testing_dates. It's not a database, it's a SharePoint list. Whether you call it a database or a list, you'll definitely be sure to know this is where the data is being stored. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing you need to do, I already put two buttons on there. They're not tied to anything. The better way is tied so that if I hit this button, it'll go to the second page. That's in place. We are going to go ahead and we're going to add or insert. And then the most popular thing is edit form. So we're going to just go ahead and drop that in there. As you can see, automatically it gives me the data sources that I have added to it. You can see test dates right there. Let's go ahead and click on test dates. Okay, as you can see over here, form 1 in his tests. I do not like leaving things in a generic state, because if I ever came back to your application, this is a best practice, a tip and a trick all at the same time. When you do create things, be sure to label them so that it's understandable. In this case, instead of form 1, I usually use FRM to let me know it's a form, and then I give it a good one. Baseline, let's do baseline input for this form. Meaning we're just using what comes out of box, as you can see here. Easier that way. You can definitely do it the other way. You got to go into advanced, tell it, don't lock it down. I want to mess around with it, play nice in the sandbox. In this case, we're just going to do with fit, because like I said, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. You guys can definitely mess around and play with this. The long and the short of it is, this is the quick and dirty way of doing it. All I need to do is tie this button to this, and you'll be able to see that this is going to work automatically. That's great, that's good. As you can see, it's pretty baseline. Let's go ahead and add this really quick. So on select, let's go ahead and then submit. Submit form, and then it's like, well, which form are we talking about? So FRM, baseline input, double I apparently, sure, why not? You guys can let me know, and You can let me know in the comments that my spelling is atrocious. I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and hit the play button. No item. Why is that? Because right now it's in edit mode and I haven't actually forwarded anything to this box to edit. That doesn't make any sense. Let's go ahead and jump back. A lot of people make that mistake, by the way. Okay, so what we need to do is actually make sure this is to create a new thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to go into properties. For this form, we're going to go into advanced. We're going to scroll down, and as you can see, form mode. So if we go into form mode, we're going to go dot, and then we're going to go new. This is now understanding that what we want to do is create a new item in the SharePoint list. So there we go. If we do test this out, let's go ahead and hit play one more time. Here it is. We can go into title. We're going to say, for the title, we're going to say Star Wars. And then A New Hope. There we go. Fabulous. Then we're going to choose a day. 2001's kind of so 2000s. Let's go ahead and do the 24th of the month. Hit OK. We're going to also do this. Now notice for the hours, yes, this is the hours, it goes to 23. So 0 to 23. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't understand military time. A lot of times they choose like, I don't know, 6 in the morning when they're looking for 6 in the afternoon, or even my favorite is 1 in the morning, and when they're looking for 1 in the afternoon for a late lunch. So yeah, it's a thing. Let's go to 17 and let's go to I don't know, 30's fine. So there we have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the create button. We're going to see a bunch of dots flicker up here, and then we can actually go and see if it actually took. Okay, and so here we go. As you can see, we're in our list, the testing dates list, SharePoint list, as you saw in the PowerApp, the data source. And Star Wars A New Hope is here, and 1/24/2025 at 5:30, which is translation into military time is 17:30. So yes, everything is working, everything is in order. That definitely did work, but it's going to be very confusing for individuals who have no idea what military time is, or if they're the ones who are not only paying attention to the actual application that you're building and creating in PowerApps, but also on the SharePoint side, and they go back and forth, they're going to get confused really quickly, really easily. Let's jump back into it, into the PowerApp, and actually go ahead and try doing it on the second page. Perfect. And so here we are, we're back to this. So let's go ahead and build our better way. So what we're going to do is come over here to the better way. So far, nothing's in here. Well, I don't want to just throw the form on there because it's going to build the entire thing just like I don't want it, and that's military time. I don't want military time, so let's go ahead and come up with something a little bit more unique. So I always like to use text labels, so here we go. Here's our first text label. Let's move it down a little bit. And this text label, so for labels I put LAB and then title. So there we go. So this is the title label text. Let's go back to display. It's easier that way. Let's go ahead and do for this one, let's see, title of Doom. Lots of Doom going on here. And there we go. And beautiful. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. The next thing we need to do is a text field for that. So let's do text label.
He chose poorly.
And then we're going to go ahead and bring that down here, smack it right up against the end of that, and we'll make it a wee bit longer. There we go. And then what we'll do is the following. So let's go to, well, I can do it up here. So this is a text box. So txt for text box. I try to keep it just 3 letters so I can visually know what it is without having to type out the full thing, and then the names get super long and you get an eye twitch. So text, and then this is the title. Beautiful. That's nice, real nice. And then text field is fine. So far, so good. So that's that part. So we've got our title. Now the last part we need to do is the date. So let's go ahead and do the date really quick. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to do a date picker. Now, yes, I totally jumped ahead of it. I am very excitable apparently today, so let's go ahead and put that there. We'll line it up exactly, perfect. So for this, let's go cal for calendar, and then we'll call this test date, cal test date. So cal test date, there we go, cal test date is done. Let's actually label this so that my users know what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and do another text label. Slap that down here, just like so. Perfect is similar to that. I know it's not pretty. We're not looking for pretty right now. So test date, there we go. And again, so lab, and this test date. And you're like, well, that's kind of crazy. You got lab test date, but that's the reason why I put the three initial letters first, because over here, if you look at the left here, you can actually see that lab test date is, I know that's the label, I know that's the calendar. It's very clear, it's very straightforward, so that works quite nicely. All right, so yep, and here's my lab title, there's my text title. Everything is like it's supposed to be. I did not do button, where's the button? Okay, fine. So BTN for button, BTN back to main. There we go. So that's my button, back to main. So that will actually take us, as you can see, to the page normal way, which is up here. We know about that. That's probably one of the first things you learn when you learn how to build a Power App. If you guys want me to go into how do I even start building a Power App, I want a like Hello World like Power App. I don't want data. Just show me how to do something simple or something basic. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so we've got the date, but we're missing one vital thing, the time. So we're going to use actually three different drop downs. So let's go ahead and do that next. So we're going to insert a drop down. It's going to be an input usually, and sure enough, there's my drop down. Let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to put that right about here. We're going to make this a little bit, it's only hours. Let's make it big enough so that they know what it is. And then let's go ahead and do another one. So let's go ahead and grab another drop down, just like this. Rinse and repeat. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And then let's go ahead and make this smaller. This is minutes. We'll make it about the same size like that. And then we need the third drop down for AM or PM. So let's go ahead and do that. And ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And there we go. And AM and PM is not that big either, so let's do that. Let's start by working with the drop down. Right now, there's nothing in there except for the number 1. Not a lot of data. Not going to work. As you can see, we're actually looking at items. See, drop down sample, it's going to put a number or 2 in there. Not really good. So let's go. There's several ways you can do this. For time, I usually just do it manually. If you open up a square brackets like that, as you can see, the open and close square brackets are there. And then what you do is you put quotes, and then so we'll start with 1 o'clock, comma, and then we'll do 2 o'clock in quotes and comma, and so forth and so on. And please bear with me 1 second.
A few moments later.
Oh man, I need a nap after that. Okay. As you can see, I have 1 through 12 here. So hours 1 through 12, all of that's in place. So that takes care of the hours. So the hours is right here. Then let's go to the minutes. I don't need every minute of an hour. I'm sorry. Unnecessary. What we're going to do is we're going to do 00. We're going to do 15. We're going to do 30. And of course we'll do 45. Now, if you need something more like every 5 minutes or every 6 minutes or whatever the case is, you do you. You can make this array however you want to make it, and that is fine. In this case, I just need the 15s. So the zeros, the 15, half an hour, 45 minutes, and then, of course, the zeros make up the hour again. So we got hours done, we got minutes done. Last thing I'm going to do is AM or PM. That's also just as easy. Once again, we'll do this, and then AM and P. Whoops, you can put a space in there. I don't bother, just so it's nice and clean and compact, so I can see everything in one line versus having to expand it down to see multiple lines. But that's probably going to be necessary when we get to that point where we actually put this together. So far, so good. We have everything in place. We're in a good position now. However, that being said, it's not enough. And you're probably asking, okay, Dave, why is it not enough? Well, as you know, this is not a form. These are just blatant text boxes, and there's not much we can do about it. Well, let's go and insert our submit button. So button, who has the button? Let's go ahead and put it down here. And we'll go ahead and say submit by patch. There we go. Oh, guess we should make that a little bit larger. There we go. That's nice. Real nice. Yes, I'm having fun if it kills everyone else in the room. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. All right, let's continue on though. All well and good if I click on this, on select does absolutely nothing. Well, that's kind of a problem. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to actually need to submit this. Well, there's one way we can do this without having the black magic box do it for us. We're going to use the patch. That's the reason why I put patch there. So if I put patch, there we go. So now, as you can see, if you go through, the record has to be patched, return rows, yada yada. You can go, if you have 2 out of 7, 1 out of 7, 6 out of 7, you can scroll through by using these little arrows to see what that does. I usually recommend actually going into Microsoft Learning and actually seeing it there. They have an entire web page designed literally to go through every single, or list off every single possible thing that you can do in PowerApps, and I will probably actually put that in the description below so that way you have a quick link to that. All right, now let's get back to it. The first thing I have to do is the data source. It kind of makes sense. So if we do testing dates, you can see there's my testing dates, there's my data source. So we got the data source. That so far so good. So that's where it's going, the record that has to be patched. No, it's not truly being patched. It needs to be created. In order to do this, what we're going to do is go ahead and type defaults, testing dates once again. There we go. And so we selected testing dates. The reason for that is what we want is we're creating a new object. So use all the defaults because every single list has a column. Every single column has a default. It might be blank. It might actually have something in it. Whatever the case may be, it will automatically create a new row in your SharePoint list, and it'll actually allow you to make patches to the new line. So that's like, please make a new line. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually do the update, and so we're going to use the curly brackets. Yes, curly. So as you can see, there's a curly bracket, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do title, There it is. And as you can see, the square is saying, I know what it is. It's title colon. So we're going to use title colon. And then what we want to do is we're going to pass it the title. In this case, it's going to be the txt. So txt title. See, there it is right there. So txt title. Okay, so far so good. However, that is not what we're looking for. We're dot text, text. Good, we've got the title done. And then we can go ahead and hit a comma. So the next thing we're going to have to do, of course, is the test date. So I believe if memory serves correctly, it was date of doom. Let's take, sure enough, there it is. There's date of doom. So we're going to have to set date of doom colon, and then we'll go ahead and do that. However, before I continue any further, this is a date. This is looking for a very long, crazy, bizarre number. We can't just type it in there because all the information is down here. There is a command, I call it a command, a function that allows us to do this, and that is date and date time, like so. And then what we're going to do is this. Now, when I opened up the parentheses for this one, you can certainly see it's looking for a whole bunch of information. Yes, so, well, we know what the year is, so what we need to do is grab the year. Well, we know the year from our cal date picker down here, so let's go ahead and do that. We need to know the year. So if we type in year, it's going to, yar. Apparently it's talked like a pirate month. So year, there we go. And then what we'll do is this. Then we'll do cal. There it is, cal test date. Apparently I apparently typed it wrong, but that's okay. Dot selected date. There we go. So automatically that gives us the year. So the year is done. Next we need the month. Well, rinse and repeat. So month. There we go. And then we cal test date. And you're going to find when you work with PowerApps, there may be idiosyncrasies, things that may not make sense. Just try different ways. In this case, I deleted the parenthesis that was automatically added for me, then re-added it, and lo and behold, it worked just fine. So selected date for this. There we go. We're getting close to the end. I'm going to expand this so that it's not like a eye strain. So there we go. So month is done, and then what we're going to do is day. So day, sure enough, we'll select you. I see it's already doing it with the no suggestions. So if we do this, then cal test date dot selected date. There we go. Next. All right. Year, month, day, easy, no problem. Even the hour is no problem, right? Yeah, no, actually it is a problem. Here's the reason why. We're not doing military time. The way time works in the background is it's just a one huge long floating number. You got the big part of the number, then the decimal, and you got the little part of the number. Oh, wait. Big part of the number, dot, little part of the number. I keep forgetting I have to do everything in reverse so that you understand what I'm talking about. Long story short, we've got to be careful because in the number, the number for 1 a.m. is 1 a.m. However, in the decimal number, it's for the 1 p.m., you have to add 12 to it. So we've got to keep an eye on if it's AM or PM. So we're going to actually have to do an if statement to know which number we're going to give it. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to hit comma. So now we're in the hour. You can see right here for the PowerFX formula, the hour is lit up, meaning we are now working on that section. So I can start my if statement. So if, then we'll do that. and then of course no suggestions. So whatever reason, my browser, oddly enough, Microsoft, it is Edge, is not playing well with others at the moment in time. So now I got to do my logical test. So the logical test in this case is is absolutely nothing because I put in the drop downs but I didn't name them. Remember I told you it's always important to name them? Right now it's drop down 1, drop down 2, drop down 3. See, even I make mistakes. I know, it's true. Just ask my family. Kidding, please don't. All right, so here we go. So drop down, I usually do DPD for drop down, and then we'll do hours. Good. Then we'll do this one over here, and we'll let's go ahead and let's call this DPD, and this is minutes. And then the last one, we'll do DPD and then AM, PM all at once. So drop down AM, PM, because that's exactly what it is. And that's, for me, that is an easy way of understanding what I'm doing. So far, so good. Now let's go back to the patch. Make this big again because it's crying. It's like, what are you doing to me? So if, and then in this case, DPD AMPM dot selected text equals, and then let's do PM. All right, so far so good. We're going to hit comma. Now let's see here. So the true value, so if it's true, then what we need to do is the following. We are going to use let's go ahead and do day, let's see, day, hour. So hour is cal test date dot selected date. However, that is not entirely accurate. We have to add the plus 12 and then comma, and then we got to do the else. If it's else, then instead of 1 o'clock, so in this case, if it was, they chose 1, it would automatically know that it's 1 p.m. Therefore, it'll be 13 military time, and it'll actually be registered correctly. So what we're going to do now is, for if it's AM, then we just want hour to be cal test date, whoops, dot selected date. There we go. And then we close the if statement, and then we hit comma. Pretty straightforward. And then the second to last is the hour. So that is the minute. So DPD, and then we're going to go to minutes. And then we're going to open, typing too fast, selected text. There we go. And then the last thing we're going to do is quotes 0, or actually just number 0. If I put quotes around it, it becomes a string. It's not going to know what to do with it. You've got to be careful when to know when to put quotes and when not to put quotes. I, out of habit, just did the quotes. It is not correct. We need a 0 there. It's looking for a number. We're not doing seconds. Homie, don't play that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just close out like that. Now, as you can see, we've now finished the date time here. Well, that's not, but that's not all. Now we've got the curly brackets. We're going to close the curly brackets, and then we're going to close the patch parentheses. Then you can see it's no longer angry. Next time on simplifying PowerApps dates and debugging techniques of Doom. Nope, wait, hold on. No of Doom. Part 2. Do that over again. Fine. Simplifying PowerApps dates and debugging techniques. Part 2. That's better. Thank you. That's a wrap.